So I was looking for something to play a couple of months back, and I came across something I don't see very often. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever seen it. And that is a mobile game with the elusive perfect 5 out of 5 rating. And I just had to know what this was all about. So join me as we quickly check out the perfect mobile game. Now, I'll be the first to admit that old school RPGs have never been my favorite genre, but I would lie if I say I don't love the allure of them if nothing else. The grand journeys, the mysterious lore, the inventory management so involved it's creeping up on part-time job territory. There's always a draw. But with the draw comes also the catch. For me, I have a tendency of burning out, usually around the 10 to 100 hour mark somewhere. You know, early on by most CRPG standards. So maybe it's saying something then, probably, but I like this game as much as I did. I'm also weak for a good, mostly solo developed game, so we were always off on the right foot here, really. Caves of Lore is an old school RPG, not too dissimilar from, well, old RPGs. It's certainly not the first to arrive at the party, but it's got the memo all right. And it's had the decency of showing up, all complete with large towns in need of help, world-ending catastrophes to solve, and the correct quantity of sword-shaped kitchen mops and bathroom sponges to make the cleanup happen. And a town can only be as great as the people in it, and the ones here are more of a strange bunch, for sure. In face of the dire themes of the game, their levels of chill are suitably unflailing as well. That even the end of the world doesn't take much more than some moderate concern and a raised eyebrow or two. The thing I appreciate the most with the title, I think, is how colorful the world is. Which, colorful might not be the first word to mind when describing a story that details the steady decline of a once flourishing but now grey and bleak civilization, and with it the slow destruction of knowledge itself. But it's those small touches, like some funny dialogue or a cool offbeat looking place, that ends up filling in the canvas nicely. Which was previously looking a bit bleak, I admit. Speaking of color, when it comes to the visuals, this game is truly much greater than the sum of its parts. Take the textures for example. Being a bit on the interpretive side of things, I think it's fair to say, they have the dubious accomplishment of looking both overly detailed and overly simple at the same time. And the colors themselves sometimes feels like they're more the result of blind dart throws than a coherent color strategy. But a great lighting engine, as well as some trippy, almost correct shadows, really brings it all together in the end. And the final product is certainly unique and undeniably memorable. Another place where the game shines is in its gameplay. Its controls are nothing revolutionary, but in case you wondered, it's clicking on a location to move and clicking on a person to engage them in fulfilling conversation. And boy, if you're here for the conversations, you are certainly in the right place. Whether your playthrough is 10 hours or 40 can probably be fully decided by how many side characters you care to know the full life story of. This is probably best showcased in the neat little encyclopedia that comes bundled with every half-important NPC, letting you know all their opinions on absolutely everything, from the news of the hour to what they had for breakfast this morning. And from a game development perspective, as much as resorting to an encyclopedia feels like you're giving up the fight before it even starts, I can't help but appreciate the extra effort. The townsfolk having their own individual routines and daily schedules is definitely a great touch as well. Even if it does mean getting your next quest marker sometimes involves chasing down the local grandma around town first. But that's no problem really. I'll chase grandma around a bit for old time's sake, if it means I can get a slightly better deal on my leftover cave routes. Usually she'll just be complaining about her harvest being eaten by rats or something though, but that's cool too. The combat itself is a simple turn-based affair for the most part, but with a surprising amount of depth available to you as you start exploring your party's skill trees or begin changing up their abilities with the various magical books available. Magical books you keep, borrowing? In classic RPG fashion, from chests, wardrobes and kitchen cabinets around the world. but with most people unable to read, they're probably unlikely to miss them anyways. Now, all their clothes being mysteriously vanished on the other hand might be a different story, especially as we're already stacking a couple of these bad boys. But hopefully they aren't about to start chasing you around without their trousers either, so it all has a strange tendency of working out in the end. Now, as I mentioned, this is an old school RPG, including many of the things that often turn people off from the genre. Like the UI, for example. It's very dense and it's easy to feel overwhelmed with choice in the countless menus and submenus. Throwing information at you in the smallest font, Science still considers technically readable, I'm pretty sure. But I wouldn't call it a bad UI. Things are placed in the right locations, even if it might take you a couple of hours before you realize why exactly they're the right locations. And if you don't know the genre well, or at all, you might find yourself clicking around a decent amount, or spend some time reading through the many in-game tutorials if that's more your style. I've always considered myself someone who likes stumbling blindly around the menus myself, but to each their own. Thankfully, this is one of those games where bashing your head against the mechanics for half an hour feels worth it in a way. Perhaps even rewarding eventually if I dare go so far. And as soon as you do master the mechanics, the experience from there is certainly one worth having.